Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Desire Dialogues. Today, we have a very special guest. Her name is Bekah. She's gorgeous, even though you're just going to hear her voice today. And we met online. She was looking to be a guest, and my gosh, her story really hit me. And once I started following her on Facebook, man, the authenticity of this woman, the power. Oh, I can't wait to introduce you to Bekah. Hi, Bekah. How are you today?
Hey, Lauren. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
doing good.
Ah, wonderful. So, I would love to hear a little bit more about your backstory and how you have arrived to the sexually authentic version and confident woman that we see in front of us today, or that they hear. I see,
Yeah.
they hear.
I can say, you have to check me out on social or website or whatever. Yeah, I think the thing, and I'd be curious to know if it was the same for you, what polls people is I do a short bio of like, okay, this is what I'm looking to talk about. Because I have my own podcast too, but I don't highlight myself really on that podcast. So I want to like share my story on others. And it's typically like, I'm a confidence coach, I'm a speaker, and I'm an ex-pastor. And that pulls people in like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And the part that really gets them is the end where I'm like, and I get naked on OnlyFans. And people are just like, what the fuck? Like they don't know how to like quantify like what's going on in their head because they're like, that doesn't wait, what? Wait, okay, so like you're a coach, like care about personal development, and you used to be a pastor, and now you're like a sex worker, if you will. Like you also do that. And it's like, yes, I am all the things.
Yes, multifaceted.
Yeah.
And we are definitely gonna get those podcast details and all your info, and I will link that in the show notes, guys. Trust me, you're gonna wanna connect with her. So, Bekah, care to share how long ago you became an ex-pastor?
Yeah. So I stepped down. My last year in ministry was 2018. That was the last year that I was actually on staff as a pastor preaching. And then not only did I step down in 2018, but by 2019, I had stopped going to church completely. Not just the
Mhm.
church I attended, but church as a whole. I was done. And so it's one thing to step down from ministry. It's a whole nother to walk away from community and everything you've ever known in regards to your identity. And it wasn't just like, oh, I don't want this anymore. It was a reckoning because what happened after that, and it's so funny, I didn't know these things were happening when they were happening. It was like a slow burn.
Mm,
Sometimes you can't really see clearly of like, oh shit, this stuff was just like just starting to fall apart, but it didn't feel that way in it. It just felt like
mm,
uncertainty and questioning. And so what happened after that was a full deconstruction of my faith, of religion, of Christianity, of what I believed. And that sounds like oh shit type energy, but here's the craziest part is my entire identity of who I was as a person was wrapped up in being a Christian. It
mm,
was the foundation of who I was. It was how I knew myself in every lens in every area of my life. I was a parent, I was a Christian parent, right? I was a wife,
mm.
I was a Christian wife. It's not like I said these things out loud, but my point is that was the basis because these were the values, these were the principles, these were the things that was like all goes back to the Bible, all goes back to. And so I've had people say like, "Oh, well, if you walked away from it, you probably never were really truly in it then, or you never were
Oh,
like." And it's like,
no.
girl, look, I was a prayer warrior, right? We're talking Bible, we're talking church terms now, right? So if people
Mhm.
didn't grow up in church or aren't familiar with it, they might be like, "What the fuck does that mean?" But I was a prayer warrior. I was the one on the front lines. I was the one during the worship service. We were non-denominational, so we had like a worship band, all that. I'm the one in the front praising Jesus. I'm the one on my knees. I'm the one like reading my Bible every day. If anybody was in it, if anyone believed it, if anyone was literally living their life and giving their life to be it, it was me. So when you talk about something so deep, so intertwined into my like DNA basically at a cellular level
Yeah.
of who I am, it was absolutely and by far the most painful and hardest thing I have ever walked through and the loneliest thing I have ever walked through in my life.
And I can imagine because it's so intertwined, right? Not just a wife, but a Christian wife, intertwined in everything you are, everything you created, everything you were proud to be, and then who are you when you zoom out? And when you're so committed and you decide not to be anymore. I wonder what, after that lonely phase, how that turned into radical commitment to you, because that's what I see as a radical commitment to yourself now on this journey now, today.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful way to put it. That's what it turned into because growing up, I grew up in a Christian home as well. My dad was actually a pastor for a while too, so very much ingrained in
Oh,
me. When you grow up in that environment, when you're conditioned in that environment, and then when you choose that environment, what's happening is you are taught and expecting all authority to be outside of you.
mm,
Bible, it's God, it's Jesus, it's people in ministry who are above you, it's leaders, like it's all outside of you. So even though I had like this deep desire to connect at a deep spiritual level within me, even within me, as far as the Holy Spirit, that's what it's called, like in the Christian realm, it's more like the Holy Spirit is still outside of you. It wasn't you, it was outside of you. So I had this entire journey of coming back home to me, to my personal autonomy, my personal sovereignty of who the fuck was I? And
yeah,
can I trust myself? Can I learn to trust myself? Because I didn't know how to trust myself because trust was always given away to everyone else and everything else. And so the idea that you just said, the phrase like radical commitment to yourself, it's so fucking beautiful. People ask me all the time, like, how are you so happy? How you look so light, you look so like all of these things. This is what it looks like when you
yes,
come home to you. This is what it looks like. And so it's not some magical thing. Like I have some amazing skills other people don't have or can't do. It's shedding all of the programming, all of the conditioning, all of the things we've been taught that we are or are not, and figuring out, getting rid of all those things and being like, who am I and who do I want to be and what feels aligned with my soul? And this is the hardest part, even if that not only goes against religious stuff, because I'm de-shaming all that. So I'm like, I don't fucking care. All you wonderful people who still are Christian, like are gonna judge me, that's okay. Like I'm cool with that. I'm good with that. Because I used to be one of those people. So I have compassion for the
mhm,
place that they're at. And also there's a new level now. Now it's flying in the face of cultural and societal norms. Now I'm
yeah,
going against things in order to be true to me, in order to be like reclaim my life and be like, oh
mhm,
shit, I like this and I like this. Well, this isn't acceptable, not just from a religious perspective, from a societal standpoint. And you talk about like a reckoning that's coming home and being like, am I going to stand? Am I
yeah,
going to put myself out there and be visible in who I know myself to be? Or am I going to shrink back? And now I'm no longer underneath the programming and conditioning of the church. Now I'm underneath the programming and conditioning of society and the stigmas that exist there, especially with women in leadership and being highly sexual and being seen. Like there's so much fucked up stigma there, right? And yet, like, I knew that I hadn't gone this far to stop short. I knew that at the end of the day, if I was going to commit to me, radically commit, as you said, to myself, I was going to do it wholeheartedly. And it wasn't going to be easy. And it still isn't easy in many ways. And yet, I would not trade it for anything. I would not go back for anything. You could not pay me to go back and be underneath something else that exists that literally defines my life in a way that is not true to who I truly am.
and it's so powerful just hearing you speak, and I understand why you're a speaker. And my goodness, it's that pressure, it's that writing of who we are, who we get to be, and there is no autonomy except Christian Bekah. That was it. You
Mhm.
wouldn't be able to be just Bekah, not fully. So you
Mhm.
really just threw the book at, you know, that type of religious shame. And what a courageous step up to have
Mhm.
to every day you fight to show up. You fight all the patriarchy, you fight all the sexual stigma, and it's a beautiful thing. And we need more people like this. And I think we're slowly getting there. Maybe just a small portion of us, but conversations like these are just, it's important. And man, does it feel good on the other side where you were like, this is me, and I have no qualms if you don't like it. That's a
Mhm.
you thing. That's your business. But
Mhm.
my business is showing up for me, how I want to look, how I want to feel, how I want to think. And I pray for me. I pray at my own feet for myself, and I am the power. Boom.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and there's something to be said about knowing that you are inevitably going to trigger people. And
Mm.
I know that. I already have many times. And it's not, this isn't like, I'm going to go out of my way to trigger people. It's not that. Here's
Mm-mm.
the reality. When you stand in your authentic self and your authentic power, whatever that looks like, and everybody's different. As a coach, I don't try to get my clients to be like me. I try to get them to figure out who they are and go home to them. That's going to look differently than me. But no matter what, no matter who you are, when you stand in your authenticity and you show up and you're visible in that, you will trigger people. And I tell my clients all the time, I'm like, here's what I say to that. You're welcome. I'm
Yeah.
going to inspire you or I'm going to trigger you. And either way, you're welcome. Because if I inspire you, easy to say you're welcome. If I trigger you, you're welcome. Now, what you do with that trigger is your own responsibility. But if I
Yep.
trigger you, that is a beautiful opportunity. Just as I get triggered as fuck, but still, right? But it's different things. It's not like I've arrived and I'm fucking healed and I get triggered.
Never,
It's
right?
no, it's a beautiful opportunity to figure out, oh, there's a piece of me rising up that wants to be witnessed, that wants to be healed, that wants to be seen, that wants to be met with curiosity and love and figure out what's going on here. And that is a gift. It doesn't feel like a fucking gift. It feels like a little curse for a moment, but it's
Yeah.
a gift. And so at the end of the day, there will be people that I trigger for the rest of my life that will never do shit with it. They will see it, they will feel it, they will experience it, and they'll be like, fuck you. And they'll project it back on me, however they do, whether just internally or what. They'll project it back on me as a judgment, as you know, I'm the issue. And that's okay. It's no nothing off my back, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones dealing with that. But there will be those who get triggered and they are ready. They are ready to be like, what's going on here? I'm being triggered as fuck. I don't know why. What is it? What is it? Do I see something in her I want? Right? Or that she's
The
expressing?
shadow,
Yes.
right? That shadow piece.
Uh-huh. Or am I judging something in myself that I'm judging in her? Right? That's usually it for me. Like it's usually a piece of me I'm judging that looks, there's a flavor there. And then I'm judging someone else in that, right? I have this happen on a weekly basis easily. Like it couldn't just be small things. But it's such a gift if we're willing to do the work. And how beautiful, because the more you do the work of that, the less judgmental and the less triggered you are. You literally feel
Exactly.
like a fucking superhero. You're just like walking around like this ball, like, I'm unfuckwithable. I'm unfuckwithable.
I
I'm not
love
completely,
that.
no, I'm not completely there yet, but I see a drastic difference in how easily I felt like I could be fucked with, if you will, triggered back even just a year ago compared to now. It's huge. Yeah.
And it sounds like with every step that you take, on your journey as you, without concern of how someone else is going to be triggered, knowing it's going to be happening, whether or not they take that call to action to soul up level, if you will,
Hmm.
self-awareness, self-fulfillment, self personal development.
Yeah.
It's a matter of your every step you take, you're building this armor of this is it. It's impenetrable truth.
Yeah.
And it's your truth. And that's maybe why you feel like that superhero. And I wish more people could get to that. And I think it's a matter of you're ready when you're ready. But
Mhm.
also things like shame don't let us be ready very often. They
Yeah.
make it so we can't be ready.
Yeah.
And wow, man, this is such a profound conversation. I adore you. I'm so pumped we did this. I'm so pumped.
Yeah. Yeah. The shame
So,
factor is huge. Hitting on the shame factor. Like when I go back to talking about deconstruction,
yeah.
it's so interesting. If you would have asked me when I was in the church and a Christian and a ministry, like, do you deal with a lot of shame or fear? I would have told you no. I would have told you I dealt with some. It's not like I wouldn't have been honest about the fact that there was some, but in general, I'd been like, no, I don't really deal with that. And I didn't realize until after I deconstructed that I did deal with so much of that and that it actually started just fading away, just deconstructing the beliefs I had and deciding I no longer subscribe to them because what I didn't realize was how many of the beliefs that I subscribed to were actually beliefs that were founded in shame and fear, and they were masked in love. So I'm sitting here thinking these are very loving beliefs. These are very loving staples of the Bible, of the Christian faith, of whatever. And yet, that is radically untrue. And at a subconscious and nervous system level, my body was literally in a state of fight or flight in regards to the shame and the fear that I had. Talk about, and again, this is going to be only for a small bit of the audience, but like spiritual warfare, like the idea that like the demons are out to get you and the devil's out to get you and tempt you at every like
Mm.
holy shit, like what the fuck? And then even the beliefs of like, oh well, if you don't take accept Jesus, you're going to hell. Like what the fuck is that? just all of the things, the shame of feeling like you were never, you didn't have enough faith to believe for certain things, and that's why they weren't happening. So much shame and fear. And one of the first areas that it benefited me to deconstruct was my parenting. Uh,
Mm.
it was mind blowing. So I have three kids.
Yeah.
They're now 20, 18, and 13. But again, this was about 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And I always consider myself a pretty good parent in the sense of like I had a healthy relationship with my kids, and they would say
Mm.
that as well. So it's not just one-sided. Very open, talk about whatever. But there was still an agenda attached to my parenting, which was my agenda is I want you to know Jesus, love Jesus, be led by Jesus. That was the agenda. And because of that, you're also adding in all the staples of the Bible and what they say to be good, et cetera. Don't have sex
Yeah.
before you're married, which of course I was a raging little slut before I was married, but that didn't matter. I was trying to save my kids from that, you know, you know, stay away from like drugs and alcohol, whatever. I like,
Yeah.
who knows, all the things I did, like, oh, it was painful, so don't do it. Girl, I deconstructed. And then even with relationships they had, like trying,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I deconstructed and walked away from all that shit. And I was like, it was like a light opened up in the sky. This is how it felt. It was like they have their own journey and I don't have to direct it. It doesn't mean I'm hands off completely, right? As a parent, especially
No.
when
Yeah.
you're younger, no, you're involved. But my desire was to simply guide them like I do my clients back home to them and let them make choices and more choices as they get older, personal autonomy, like, and even ones that I feel like, oof, I don't think that's such a great decision. And then have conversations around it. My job as a parent was to create a safe place for them to know that as they choose their journey and figure out, it's hard being human. It's hard figuring out like who am I in this human body? What do I want? How am I wired? What are my giftings? When you're constantly being inundated by your parents who have agendas for how you should live, should show up, what you should do, how you should act, right? And then all the belief systems on top of that of religion and programming like that. It was just like, I don't have to carry this weight. And I don't have to
No.
feel bad as a parent if they make mistakes that look a certain way. Like they're going to be okay. And I have never in my life until that point felt such a sense of just like absolute certainty that my kids are going to be great. They're going to be good. They're going to be okay. They're going to be more than that. They're going to have amazing lives. That doesn't mean, though, that everything will look pretty and perfect along the way, right? And also, I don't have to freak the fuck out about it.
No.
I just
'Cause you
get,
don't have to worry about retribution from what others think within the church. You get to be a cheerleader. They're not stuck in one little lane that they have to walk down. The guardrails are down now. The guardrails of religion and what is expected of you, and
yep.
is this an evil choice? And it must be so beautiful to watch and witness and be able to take a step back and just watch them evolve without any barriers.
It's such a
Yeah.
gift. It's such a gift. And one of the phrases that I started using with them was, I trust you to trust yourself.
Mm.
I trust you to listen deeply to your inner knowing, your wisdom, and make choices based from that place. And it doesn't, I'm not saying this because I think you're going to hear it and get it right all the time, or you're not going to make any mistakes. I'm just telling you that I want to be a cheerleader for your personal sovereignty because I
Mm.
never had that. And I don't want you to go decades of your life thinking that you need to figure out all the fucking answers outside of yourself, that you don't have the wisdom that you need. And the
Yeah.
sooner I can help them, which part of helping is simply just trusting them, help them tap into their own intuition and their own intuitive nudges, the faster I've seen them evolve, the more peace led. People say, oh, you can only find peace in Jesus. Like legit, I've had people say that since I left the church to me.
Mm.
I have never had, I've never felt more peace filled and peace fueled than after I deconstructed all of the bullshit, right?
Mm.
I literally, and my kids are
Mm.
manifestations of that too, because
Mm.
they also operate in more peace than ever before.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, with this intuitive pull, what and when, or if you even know, where was this intuitive pull to be like, I'm gonna show up for me and my sexuality on OnlyFans. Would you
Yeah.
like to talk about that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm an
Yeah,
open book. I'll talk about
yeah,
anything.
yes.
I will talk about anything. Yeah, so it's funny. I've always been a pretty highly sexual human.
Mm,
Before I got married, even I was like wildly sexual, and then I knew I was bisexual by 17, and I even told my husband that when we got married. But
yes.
monogamous marriage and Christian marriage, you're not going to operate in that way. So
Yeah,
we um we had a pretty highly sexual marriage in regards to like, especially considering 20 something years married, we were having sex like 3 times a week. For a marriage that long, it's a pretty big
that's
deal.
big deal.
But what happened was once I deconstructed and the shame went away, I was like, oh shit, I don't have to be shame. One of the things that fell was sexuality. So it was like no more shame about parenting. It's like, oh my God, I don't have to live in shame around my sexuality. And for not for every person, but for me, this type of energy around sexuality fell quickly. I think it was because it had been suppressed for so long and I was so fucking fed up with it that like
Yes.
when it fell, it was just like, whoosh, and I was just like, oh my God. And I just started feeling like turn on all the time, but not just like sexual turn on for the purpose of sexual, just like pussy turn on for like life. Like I just
Yes.
get turned on, like my body gets turned on for life. And so even like allowing my like sexual pleasure, like its sensations to even lead, like allowing that to be part of my intuition, if you will. Sounds a little
Yeah.
weird, but it actually, I feel a lot of sacral connection. So for me, it's not going to be everybody. I don't think you're wrong if this isn't the case for you, but it's just like it's something that for me came about very quickly. So started
Mm,
doing that, ended up my now ex and I, but at the time we ended up like opening up our marriage a bit, like doing some
yeah.
swinging stuff, like doing all sorts of like wild stuff. And that was really fun. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that. I have massive compersion. It was not a problem for me. I'm like, this is wild and fun and I love it. Um,
Yes.
but then like even before that, I knew that one of the other things that started deconstructing was my marriage, right? And
Mm,
I knew that I no longer wanted to be married. And so
mm,
opening up a marriage and doing that kind of fun stuff doesn't fix something that's already there, right? It doesn't
mm.
fix it. If anything, it brings more to the surface faster, right? Stuff
Yeah.
that's unhealed and things. And so over time, it was just like, well, this isn't, no matter what we do, like this isn't what I want. I don't want to be in a marriage anymore. And so we moved toward divorce. And so then it's like, okay, I'm single now. I can still do whatever the fuck I want in that regard, sexual.
Yeah.
But I love, as much as I love sex and I love sexuality and I love being pleasured and I love pleasuring, I love connection and I care about the experience because if anybody's had bad sex on here, like let's just go home and masturbate because I would rather have done that than have had the bad sex I had with that person. Like that wasn't worth my time. Okay,
Agreed. Yeah.
respect, right? Like this real as fuck. So after a couple times of having that happen, I was just like, meh, I think I'm going to take a backseat because I'm not looking to have any type of committed relationship. I knew that. So I'm not out here searching for someone. So I was just like, I'm going to take care of me. But I am an exhibitionist. Uh,
Yes.
I love expressing myself sexually. So I had a friend who's been in OnlyFans for a few years. She never did much with it. It wasn't like she was like really passionate about making it a thing. But I just loved the idea that you could have a platform that was fully yours, like your own little spot, and you could do whatever the fuck you wanted and express yourself sexually. It was like, I call it my sexual playground. So
Yeah.
last fall, in 2024, and this is after, again, this is like a year after I told my husband, like, we're done. I don't want to be married anymore. I was like, I'm gonna do it. Now it's funny, people were like, oh, they think you just do it for the money, or they think you just do it, I don't know, because you're a slut and you just want to have sex with a bunch of people, which um I, I will just embrace the word slut because I fucking love it. I actually barely,
Yes.
I'm wildly underfucked and I'll call myself a slut. I don't care. I'm reclaiming that word. Yes, I'm allowed to be a slut and I love it. Um,
Absolutely. You are. Own your slut power, girl.
fuck
I'm with
yeah.
it. I'm
I love
so with
that.
that.
Yes. So I took about a year of considering OnlyFans. I didn't jump right into it
Mm,
because what I know as a coach and as someone who understands the somatic and the need for your body to be on board and to feel safe
yeah.
doing things, was that now I'm confronting the stigmas of society, right? It's now not just like, oh, I don't believe this, and you got 10% of the world that's like still believes the religious stuff and the rest doesn't, so you're fine. But like, no, now I'm confronting like 90% of people who are like, you are a bad person, you shouldn't be doing like all of that stuff, right? And
Mm,
so I took time to be like, do I want to do this? Why do I want to do this? What's going to come up? Let's pretend I'm already doing it. What judgments am I facing already? Can I
mm.
handle those? Am I going to be anonymous or am I going to be out there with it, right? Like what
That's
do
the
I,
big question, yeah.
and so at the end of the day, what it came down to was, yes, I fucking want to do it. I love the idea of doing it. It gets me giddy and excited and happy and turned on. And
Yes.
two, as a person who values the fuck out of authenticity and is constantly teaching others how to embrace their own and be visible in your authenticity, I knew that if I was going to do it, I was going to be visible about it in public. I was not going to have a fake name. I was not going to not show my face. I was just going to fucking do it. Now, I'm not saying that because I think everyone should do this or you're not authentic. Everybody's at different places and whatever feels authentic to them is fine. But for me, that's what I knew. So the
Yeah.
first people I told were my kids.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah. Why?
Wow, that's
Because
powerful.
they are teenagers. Well, at the time, my daughter was 19 at the time. Yeah. So they were all teenagers. And the reality is that it's a potential for their friends to find out, right? That I
True.
have an OnlyFans. And because of the stigma, it's like, oh, and so then the idea that they're going to hear from someone else instead of me that I have
Good.
an OnlyFans? Fuck no. Fuck no, that's not how we operate. So I sat down with them and not only did I explain, like, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it. It's okay if you don't understand, but I want to be there for you and like help you, like what things would make you comfortable as far as like I eliminated all their friends from seeing my Instagram account anymore, just different things that would
Yep.
help. Doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, but things that would help. And then I talked to them about what if someone does come to you and say like, "Oh my God, your mom has an OnlyFans. Did you know that?" What are you going to say? How do you like I want you to get in your body like okay with that. But the other part was that I tried to help them understand it's not just for the sexual playground. It's not just for the fun, right? Um,
Expression.
it's the fully being authentic and expressing myself in a way that feels good to me. And I am all about dismantling pillars of society that tell us women can't be highly sexual and express themselves this way and be respected.
Yeah,
And,
and be a good parent, and
right.
be this, and be
And
that. Oh,
yes, yes, I'm so fucking sick of that shit. And so it I've always been a trailblazer. Like,
yes.
it's not like I wanted to choose that for my life, it's just how my life has gone, even in Christianity, a trailblazer. And so I'm just like, here we go. Let's fucking go. And I started it. And what I did was I started it in a way that felt good to me. So it was
Mhm.
like, what am I okay with doing? How often do I want to post? Very clear about what felt safe at the time. And now what felt safe back in the fall of last year has grown substantially, right? Now,
Wow,
ironically,
yes,
I'm still a solo creator. Like that's what I chose for
yes,
myself. I had thought about collabing a bit or whatever, and I was just like, I like being the underfucked MILF. I mean, I don't like being underfucked, but that's the brand that I basically portray. It's like ex-pastor,
yes,
MILF, like, and I sincerely don't have a lot of sex. But if I'm collabing with people, that wouldn't be the case because I'd be fucking the people. And also
yeah,
just like because I do love to have fun and here and there I'll have fun with somebody that's not like a real connection, but in
mhm,
general, I really don't because I love that connection piece. So I haven't collabed with anyone at all on my OnlyFans. It's literally
wow,
been me. And this past January, it took off.
wow,
I mean,
yes.
substantially. Like 5 months in, it just like shot up and now I'm in the top 1%.
Oh my gosh, Becca, that's incredible. That
Yeah.
is incredible,
And
and
I'm
I
still a
like that
coach and I'm still a speaker and I'm just like, I'm doing all the things and I love it. I love
yeah,
all the things I do.
and it's the thing too, it's like a lot of the times it's like, okay, first off, you're not being a stripper, you're not having sex with other people, so it's not necessarily, out in public making porn, and it's not prostitution, it is literally like the safest way for sexual expression and to love yourself is the highest way, which is masturbation. People are doing this behind the scenes anyways, right? We're doing
Yeah.
this not camerized every day. I do,
Yeah.
but it's like to be watch adds that other level of sexual drive, and it is just you're just getting sexual energy all over there and receiving it back by being an exhibitionist. And it is just a perfect, beautiful fit. And I love it. There is no need for shame. I mean, this is
Yeah.
like on
Yeah.
the sex worker scale, this is like the lowest. You know what I
And
mean? But
I'll be honest, like
still,
I
yeah,
have zero qualms with any sex workers. I think women should be allowed to do whatever the fuck they want with their bodies. And if
absolutely.
that means they want to be an escort or they want to strip, I have no problem with that at all. It's figuring out what feels true to you versus doing
Mm,
it just for a check in the box or for money or whatever. And it's not, I don't even think it's wrong to do for money, but when I talk about, so I'm about to launch an OnlyFans training course actually. And
yes.
when I talk about why you do it, right? It's so important for people in whatever they do. There can be the money piece of it. That's not wrong or bad to be like, yes, I want to do this for the money. The only consideration that leaves is sustainability long term. Because
Mm,
think about any job you have. Forget sex work. Let's go with any job you have. If you're only in it for the money, long term you are burnt the fuck out and you resent it. Okay? So even
yes.
with sex work, the same thing could happen. So I always tell people like there has to be more to it that lights you up and that creates
Mhm.
fun. Like I know a stripper and she loves what she does. She has so much
Yeah.
fun. She loves meeting the guys. She builds relationships like just
Yes.
within that. It's not like she goes and meets an outward, but like they're like
Mhm.
similar people. Like they come, they're her regulars, like, and she loves it. She has fun with it, and so it's very sustainable for her. When there's not that, and it's just like I got to do this, I got to make some extra money. You could actually make some extra money, absolutely, and also long term, it will feel so much like work.
Mm.
It will feel so much
Exactly.
like it'll burn you the fuck out. And so I had to do it from a place of like, this is fun, this is exciting, this is my playground. And here's the best part. Girl, the best part is that I bring my holistic self into this place. So with
Mm.
OF, I do like Monday morning motivations. I will literally do like audio messages to these people and give them like a motivating, like encouraging word. I will, I literally give advice, not on purpose. They ask me for it in the DMs. They're asking me like, "Oh, I'm struggling with this. What do you think about this?" I've had people hire me for coaching out of it, right? Like this shit is happening because they don't even know what to do with me because they're so used to just seeing just the sexy side of people and they're like, whoa, wait a minute, like you have a podcast and you're emotionally intelligent and you're like, what is this? And I'm like, yeah,
Yes, it's all the things, and you're allowed to be all the things, and people wanna see all the things. They wanna see the whole person because you show up so authentically.
yeah,
And it's incredible. It's you've built a community and a relationship, and it's a service on
yes,
every single level that you just said.
yeah,
Doesn't matter if it's categorized as it's a service. Like,
it is a
why if it
service.
brings people joy as well as you, that is a passion project slash job,
It
purpose.
really
Oh my
is.
gosh, yes.
You know, what's interesting too is I'll have people say to me, even the guys in my DMs, they'll be like, "Oh, well, I'm different than most of the pervs you probably have in here." And I correct them and I'm like, "It's interesting. I know the perception is that you just have a bunch of creepy perverts in your OnlyFans and DMs. That is not the case for me at all. Do you know that the majority of people, now again, not everybody talks in my DMs to me. So it's not like the thousands of people I have, they're all talking to me. It's a small percentage, but the ones who do, they are some of the most kind, generous, considerate, beautiful humans. They want to get to know me as a person. They like care about my day. They are good humans. And you know what it is? It's just they want to feel belonging. They want to feel desired. They want to feel connection. Like every fucking
Connection.
human. Right?
Yes.
I'm able to give them a little bit of that. Is it going to solve all their problems? Fuck no. Most things don't, though. Right? But if I'm able to make them feel a little more seen or give them a little bit more pleasure for the day, right? Like that does make a difference. Long term, that does make a difference. And even if it's just
Sure
going to be
does.
short term making a difference, I feel honored to be a part of that.
And when you said earlier in our show too, you love the connection part. Does this give you that connection piece too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, all
Yeah.
fulfilling. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yes.
It does. I had a guy, he's in the UK. I mean, he was texting me this morning in my DMs just talking about how much he appreciates me, how much he appreciates like how authentic I am and it's so refreshing for him and he just really feels inspired by the things I say. Like and if he's audio messaging me this so I get to hear his beautiful accent, his beautiful British
Yes.
accent. And I just the things that people have said to me in there that are non-sexual have touched my heart in such a beautiful way. And they're saying it because I have touched their heart. And when I do my live streams, I do live streams usually once a week in there. It's not just a cum show. That does happen toward the end, but what actually is happening is we're having like conversations. I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about stories, maybe sexy stories. I'm talking about my life. I'm talking, they're getting to know me. And people have told me, like, your live streams are better than anything I've ever seen on here. And you know what's funny? I never watched anybody else's live streams to learn how to do it. I just did what I wanted to do. I did what I
Exactly, and it
wanted to
shows.
do. And I'm just like, that's what it comes down to in all areas, figuring out what's true to you and deciding you get to have it, deciding it's possible, deciding that things get to keep getting better, deciding that the way that you're designed and the way that you want to express yourself, not just sexually, but in every area, that it's good and you don't need to shame it anymore and you don't need to make yourself wrong anymore. And that the things that you think that tell you, like, oh, but what about this and what about that? Those are just thoughts. Those are just conditionings. Those are just the rest of the energy of the world trying to, and your primal brain being like, "Oh, we're scared. We need to survive, not be expressed." No, your soul, your brain may have come here to survive, but your soul came here to be expressed, and you will never be satisfied unless you lean into the truth of what that expression looks like for you.
Absolutely. My goodness. I don't even know what I was gonna ask 'cause it is just it's incredible, and that's the thing. If you were to have gone and chose the anonymous route, you wouldn't have been able to show up fully as yourself with your life to share that with them as well, and then to receive theirs too back in return. You wouldn't have had that connection. And
No.
I'm so just so thankful that you shared your journey and your arrival to
Yeah.
this. And trying to think, yeah. Is sex so much juicier being watched?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't think that's the truth for everyone. I so I
No,
have
yeah.
so I have both. I have the exhibitionist, but I also have voyeurism. So
Mhm.
when I told you my ex and I, we like went into swinging,
Yeah,
that
to
was the
watch it.
first time I didn't know. It's so funny if you start letting yourself have new sexual experiences. Don't make them wrong. If you don't like them, you don't like them. But like, let's
Yeah.
not put so much weight on sexual experiences. So then it's not such a big deal. Okay, so there's a side note. But if you let yourself have them, you start unlocking kinks you didn't know you had. And it's so fucking
Yes.
hot and so fun. So one of
Yes.
the things that came out right away for me was I realized that I like watching. At that time, it was my husband with another woman. I'm like, holy fuck, this is hot. And so
Wicked.
I didn't even have to participate. I could just
Yeah.
watch. Like it was so fucking hot. So it's so funny how, and that's called compersion actually, but it's so funny how like
Mhm.
you start realizing things. And so like I don't have like jealousy issues. I'm like, please let me just
Let
work.
me watch. Yeah,
But
like,
then
this is great for me as it is for both of you. I am having just
yes,
as much fun as the
yes.
same,
And then
yeah.
the exhibitionist thing too. I mean,
Mm.
there's been several kinks that unlocked that I was like, "Oh my God." Like I didn't, yeah, you don't know until you know. And
Exactly.
it's fun. Like we're designed for pleasure. We're designed to experience pleasure in our lives. And when we deny ourselves that over and over again, we put rules around all of it and we put shame attached to it, like you literally are not going to live a life that feels fulfilling and enjoyable. You're not. Because you've taken pleasure, and not just sexual pleasure, it's just mean pleasure in general, and you've
In
put it in a
general.
box and you squash it down, and then you've put all these little things on it that are like, well, that's in the box, but that wasn't really exactly, oh, that can't look. And then even just in Christianity, it's like it's a sin to lust. It's a sin
Mhm.
to lust. It's literally a sin to look at someone and have like a sexual thought. What the fuck is that? You literally are a sexual being.
Yeah, you're taking away the humanness of us and our physical, biological responses.
Yeah, and you're basically like, here, let's put it in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
All the
I
things
was
that
like,
make you
"What?"
human, let's put it in a
Mm,
straitjacket. And then let's make you feel really bad for it existing to begin with.
yeah. There it is takes away every chance for experiences for our soul to actually evolve.
Yeah. Yep. Shame
Wow.
always does. And it always will. And I think that's why like it's uh the self-judgment, one of the most just absolute profound things that's the simplest thing ever for me that's transformed so many areas of my life is allowing myself to witness myself with curiosity and not judgment. That's it. Every time I start feeling like hearing the bully thoughts come in or hearing the judgment come in, it's like, okay. And it's not 100% of the time I'm perfect at it, but so much more than I ever was before. I almost it's like separating yourself from that voice that's like
Yes.
and you're just like, "Oh, this is interesting. Like this is I'm curious, like what's going on here? Why am I in judgment? Or of someone else even. And that's what I do now.
Yeah.
You can't stop yourself from having the intrusive thought, right? That's not the goal. The goal is not to get to the place where you don't have any negative or judge. Fuck that. Like that's not even the goal. Like let it come, but now
Witness
you're
it.
gonna witness it like, ah, that's so interesting. You're gonna separate yourself from it because it's not truly you anyway, right?
Exactly.
It's not truly you anyway. When you start doing that over and over and over again, that stuff has so much less power. It has
Yeah.
so little power over you. And now you're filling yourself with like so much love, affirmation, and compassion. That is just constantly overflowing to other people. It's incredible. I judge so much less now than I ever did as a pastor. And I wouldn't
Mm,
have considered myself a judgmental pastor. I don't really think that I was ever intentionally being a judgmental person, but just the difference in where I
yeah.
am and how I can show up and how I can just fully, like, even if people are like, oh, you're this and you're that, it's just like, I respect the fact that they're in a different place. You know, they're on their own journey. And I'm not here to save anybody. I'm not here to direct. I don't have an agenda to take Christians and make them not Christians. I don't have an agenda to take people who are sexually suppressed and put them in OnlyFans. I don't have an agenda, right?
Yeah.
If people want to be in my energy and in my space and in my circle, the only thing that they're going to see is I'm going to love them back into loving themselves and reflect and mirror back their soul, right? Reflect and mirror back to that. Like, what's going on with you? How do you want to be more true to yourself? Like, what does that look like for you? And whatever they say and however they decide, like, I'm not going to redirect that to something else. Like, no,
Yeah.
that's you. Like, find you, rediscover you,
Mm,
reclaim your life, and redefine how it all gets to go. Like, you're the fucking author and you're
mm,
the main character. And the sooner you
exactly.
decide it, the sooner you show up like that, the better your life becomes.
Absolutely. And it really is, it's a long book. We don't know how it's gonna go, but you get to choose the next chapter. You get to choose the plot twists. And hey, if it's time for a plot twist, and it's time to, deconstruct and deprogram from the things that maybe you're hearing, those judgments, it's usually I like my clients to take a step away from it, just like you said, just, separate. And it's like, whose voice is that?
Uh-huh.
Who's saying that to me? Or what
Mhm.
version of me is saying that back to me?
Yeah.
And I can just listen and say, you know what, we're past that actually. We've already evolved past that. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna have you, go back into that box. You've already been left in a, previous chapter. So man, what an episode. Becca, thank you. This was such a beautiful conversation. Oh,
Yes. I loved being here. I love chatting with you. You're so easy to talk to, Lauren. Thank you.
no, thank you. I hope that you continue to empower and embrace and enjoy your community that you so lovingly and truly intentionally built for you. And I've never ever I think I actually told you this in a message. I'm like, "I've never watched OnlyFans or anything." I'm like, "I may now," you know? I'm like,
Yeah.
"She made me want to," and it's like,
Yeah.
heck yes. So for my listeners, I really hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna link everything that you can, utilize to get in touch with this powerful, powerful woman, below, and thank you again. Becca, do you have any last words?
Mm. It always, for me, is good. Last words always go back to the authentic expression of your soul. Like
Yeah.
whatever that looks like, you were meant to have it. You were meant to follow through with it. And your desires, they're safe guidance. They're safe
Mhm.
guidance.
Absolutely. So, my friends, everybody continue just a little at a time to follow that inner compass. See where you're being guided, see where you're being pulled. And me and Becca will be right here for you as your cheerleaders. And until
Absolutely.
next time.